everything we're talking about here is about resilience. And why is it so important? If we look at COVID and how did we respond to COVID? And the road transport industry, I would say, is the definition of resilience. During COVID, we still were able to eat, we still received our food, we received the masks that we had to wear, we received the vaccine and all other medicine. Why? Because the road transport industry remains resilient and must be resilient. If we don't have resilience, we have nothing. We don't have an economy. We don't have a society. Resilience is imperative. It's imperative for sustainable development. It's imperative for economic growth. It's imperative for our lifestyle. Without resilience, we stop. I would argue it's the same coin, two different faces, but it's really the same coin. If we think about it, what we can do in terms of sustainability. If I have an eco truck that can reduce emissions by 30%. I'm doing something for the environment, I'm doing something for sustainability, but I'm also doing something for efficiency, and I can move things more efficiently and therefore be more resilient in what I do. If I train my drivers, they're more resilient because they can respond to more situations. They also, in being more trained, can reduce their carbon emissions by 15%. We even had a competition at the COP29 where we trained 5,000 drivers that were moving people around in Baku during COP29, and the champion reduced his carbon emissions by 32%. So, fantastic driving, safer driving while you're doing this, but at the same time, it makes you more resilient. Everything that we can do for the environment also has an aspect of resilience. When we look at what we can do at border crossings, in Saudi Arabia, we tested with a company saying, all right, with the tier system that we implement, the United Nations TIR Convention and the tier system that we run, we said, with tier now operational in Saudi Arabia, how much carbon emissions were reduced at borders because of this, and we reduced it up to 90%. So in terms of resilience, instead of having all those trucks just waiting at the border, they're crossing the border and therefore acting, doing, moving instead of being blocked. If you want to be resilient, you have to keep moving. The moment you're stopped, you are vulnerable. It's very simple. Stop talking, start acting. We have so many measures that we can put in place right now, such as eco trucks. 15 years ago at the ITF, we came here with a 25.25 meter truck, okay? Beautiful. And the argument at the time was, oh, but these trucks are too big. How will they ever be able to move around? Well, we put right beside that beautiful 25.25 meter truck, a 25.25 meter inner city bus. I said, so how can this go through the inner city? And yet the Eco truck that reduces carbon emissions by 30%, how is it it cannot? And here we are 15 years later, and we're still not allowed to go cross-border with eco trucks. The Nordics love them. Even the Swedish minister here, and I heard this firsthand, instead of going 25.25, they want to go to 34 meters. They said, we have to invest this to gain that. I'm sorry, it's an obvious choice. It's an obvious choice and a measure that's available to us today. We can train our drivers, as I said. Why don't we have government aid and funding say, let's put this in place? But we also need drivers. And that's one of our big issues in terms of resilience. I can have all the vehicles, but if I don't have drivers, right now we have a shortage of 3.6 million drivers. And this is just in 36 countries that we surveyed. That will probably increase to 7 million if we do nothing. Plus we have a aging population. There are more of our drivers that are plus 55 than minus 25. So this is a huge problem in terms of resilience. If I have nobody to move the vehicles, how am I going to be resilient? Until we have autonomous vehicles, but that's far away still. And I know at the ITF we said it should be now, but it's still not now. So we will need drivers. We'll need the youth to come in, and we need women to start driving. We only have 1% that are women. So to be resilient, we need everybody to take part, and we need governments to wake up and start acting. When the new dates of the summit come out, it's the first thing I put in my agenda. And I tell everybody at the IRU, we have to block that date because I must be in Leipzig. I was surprised with this year when I saw the dates have changed, and usually it's the 3rd or 4th week of May, and now it's the 1st week of May. We actually organized our General Assembly of the IRU that week, but I will go back to Geneva and do our best to change the dates of our General Assembly so that we can still come to Leipzig next year, be here, and then we'll just do the General Assembly after, and we'll be able to report to the General Assembly all the successes of Leipzig.